I'm going to talk about, I'm Mao, and I'm going to talk about some features and some demonstration, and some very basic JavaScript for our latest development feature, which is called JS object. Okay, so our JavaScript object, we designed it to be a new customizable object, so you will be able to draw very complicated application by using like a line and drawings and JavaScript to do something like a canvas or HMI to do whatever you want to draw on the screen. So I'm going to demo a little bit about that later. And our okay, the major purpose or the major component of our JavaScript object is we provide you a configuration, some configuration sections that you will be able to set up driver mapping. So in your JavaScript, you will be able to access the driver data from the POC to read and write or to subscribe for a specific addresses. And then you'll be able to use widgets to control the graphics and touch interactions on the screen. And then you'll be able to use our built-in state model that is using pictures and font or labeling or a multi-language label to control what you want to display on the screen. So those are the major components for our JavaScript object. And what I'm going to talk about today, first is some JavaScript crash course. So if you already know about JavaScript, bear with me. I'm going to talk about very simple JavaScript in order for you to understand the code I'm going to show you later in the demos and the basics. And then I'm going to talk about, show you some demonstrations about the latest feature that we have, and I wrote for our EasyBuilder Pro, and then some basic for the JavaScript object. So if you have a question or you want to know more about the JavaScript object, you may refer to our right here. Go to our website and go to the download section here and type in JavaScript. Then you'll be able to see the JavaScript object manual. And in the manual, you'll be able to see what we have, limitation, demonstration, and everything inside the manual. And here you see there's a link. Let's go to the link here. And right here we are, those are something that we're going to cover today, like the mouse area, a very simple JavaScript object, and on the left here, okay, let me refresh it. Okay, the most important thing is the webinar here. So for today's webinar, I have set up a download link for you to download the slide and the project file I'm going to show you later in the demonstration part. Okay. All right. So bear with me. I'm going to talk about a little bit JavaScript basics. Okay. So if you don't know about JavaScript, JavaScript is completely a different programming language from Java. So they are not the same. So if you're talking to someone about the language that you're going to use, it's not Java. It is JavaScript. And JavaScript has been used in web browsers. Most web browsers support the latest feature of JavaScript. And also in server application, they use Node.js in server applications. And also, if you have ever used OpenOffice, they use JavaScript to run and to write scripts for OpenOffice. Inside, you can have macros and to record and repeat the steps you have, like copy, moving, and sorting, that kind of stuff in OpenOffice. So this is the most use an array of JavaScript. And in JavaScript, they have some very basic data types like Boolean. So we have true and false as a keyword. So remember, this is the keyword in JavaScript. And number, they don't have integer or floating number. They only have number. And number is kind of like a double floating point. So you use number for everything. And then you have string, and by using string, you can use double quotation and single quotation to use string. So if you have written EasyBuilder Pro macro before, it's kind of hard to use string because you have to use character arrays to write a simple string. But in JavaScript, you can just use quotation to write your string. And also, arrays in JavaScript do not have to be the same data type. So you can mix different data types in an array. So it's easy in array. So it's easier for beginners to start using JavaScript because there are not a lot of limitation like traditional C# or C or C++, that they are called strong type programming language. And instead, JavaScript is called weakly typed language. So you see that if I want to declare a variable, I just write down the name and the value. I don't have to say it is a Boolean or is it a number or a string. You don't have to specifically call it. You just write down variable I equals 0 or A equals empty string. That's it. So that's the reason, that's one of the reasons we would like to adopt JavaScript in our EasyBuilder Pro, because it is easier for people like us, the OT guy. We don't have that much of time to understand every data type and conversion that we're going to use. What we have to do is just quickly write down a prototyping and ship out the product. So the speed is the most important thing, and by using weakly typed language, it's easier to program your idea inside our EasyBuilder Pro. So if you have used EasyBuilder Pro macro before, the Boolean is the same like the bool in our EasyBuilder Pro macro, and number will be the same like the short integer or float or double in our macro, and the string is kind of like character or character array. And at the same time, JavaScript, they have a lot of different, there is language-specific data types like the symbol, object, function, or undefined variable, or no, a variable has nothing in it, so that is called null. Okay, so this is the data types for JavaScript. So let's see some codes here. So first, we're going to declare a variable and print it. So right here, I declare a greeting variable and a string. Please stand by. The webinar will begin shortly. And then print out the string. Right. And you use functions to declare a function. Right. So here I declare a factorial and use use if n equals 0, then return 1, and then I can, by calling factorial 3, I'll get the factorial of 3, which is 6. Okay, and print to console. Oh, all right. So this print out the same, and then using for loops. So if I want to print this wordings very repeatedly, like you just heard several minutes ago, I can use a for loop. So for loop here I'll start from here. So variable I equals 0, and go into the statement here. If I is less than 5, that which is true, and then print out the greeting, and I++, which means I plus 1, and then here, and then here, and then here again. So I will run from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this statement will be false and go to the end. So in this code, I actually print 5 greetings. So this is for loops. Okay, so all right, so those are the very basic syntax for JavaScript. So just let you know that how the code will be loop like. You don't have to understand every detail about JavaScript right now. You can use your free time or use your time to learn more about it. But what I'm going to talk about today is about JS object in EasyBuilder Pro and how we approach using JavaScript in our HMI. All right, so JavaScript, they all have execution context. For example, if you open up your web browser just like I did here, right, and they have their own execution context. That means in browser you have a window, you have a document, which is a web page document, you have a browsing history, and in the document you have a different URL that you're connecting to, and the content of the document. So those things in orange rectangles, they are browser specific. If you are using different JavaScript platform like the Node.js or OpenOffice, most of the time you don't have window. So just like I say here, what I want to emphasize is if you in browser go to click F12 to open the web console and type in those words in the console. Let me just show you here. Okay, console and window.location equals example.com. Okay, so that command will make your browser go to example.com. Okay, but if you do this in Node.js, then it will just show you uncalled reference error. Window is not defined because in Node.js it's a command line interface, and it doesn't have something called window. It's not defined. It's not a variable or object defined in Node.js. And also for our JS object, we do have a window object, but not the same. So if you type in window.location equals this, nothing will happen because we're not a browser. So you don't see example.com page show up and you can see the same thing. No, you won't see the same thing. So if you run the same code in our JavaScript object, nothing will happen. So that's the thing I want to emphasize here. The thing that most people will see for JavaScript is for the browser JavaScript. So for browsers JavaScript, they have window document to operate like the buttons and login pages or images on a web page. But in JS object, we don't have that. So most of the time, browser scripts do not work on server or our JavaScript object. Okay, you have to modify a little bit of it to we call it porting, to porting the JavaScript object from browser base to our JS object. So in here, right here, I'm going to show you some demos about our JavaScript object, and I do adopt a lot of different browser scripts here to draw different things. Okay, so let me just open up the EasyBuilder Pro to show you the demonstrations. Okay. All right, and Gotcha. Simulation. Okay, so right here, the first demo is like the one I show. Okay, it's a little bit confusing. I'll just show you here. Okay, so if you open up the simulation, you can open up the diagnoser. And in diagnoser here, we have a JavaScript JS console that if you draw something, I think is right here. So you will see the console print out the console logs. So let me go back to the first demo here. So in this demo, when you click something, I will draw the circle and follow it. Okay. So that's the thing I draw on the screen, which is JS here. Okay, so this is the thing you can do with our JavaScript object. So you can draw different things like circles or rectangles in different shapes. Just like this one here. If you're doing math or doing some hardcore calculation for your machine, maybe you want to design a route for a robot, and you want to calculate the shortest path or to tell the machine maybe the temperature curve or something like that, and you can use our widget, which is Canvas, to draw those dots, those graphics. So this is for the first one, and the second one is for line. Okay. All right, so this is the second one, and then the third one is contour mapping. So this one is actually requested by one of the customer because they are design a glue machine. They want to put glues on the table or on the shoe soles. So they want to put the template on the screen and use their finger to draw the gluing point on the screen. So you can imagine if this is running on the HMI or a large screen HMI like a 15-inch, and you can actually put the part on the screen and start drawing, and then it will help you to put down the glues on the actual working part. Okay. And then the plotting I just showed you, and right here I can use some animation here to show some interactive things on the screen, or even like this is only for 2D, and right here I have 3D circles like that here. So this is actually a example code that I get from the internet that you can use 2D canvas, 2D widget to draw a 3D effects. So this is like a Sonic voice and eating the coins. Okay, and moving dots. Also, this is something like a dot and animation. Okay, and also rotating flow. So you can imagine by using JS object, you will be able to draw a lot of different, applications. So like drawing 3D machine tool path on the screen and use the finger to rotate the part and or the axis. Okay, and also if you have Android phones, so you must have used this before. So like here I can draw a 2 line here and then save it, and then again I can, if I use the same pattern, it'll show you, okay, you are the people that I trusted, you can go on and unlock the machine and do something. Like this, draw a W here. So you can see here, add number to pattern. Actually, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here. So well, actually decrease by 1. Okay, -1 here. Okay. All right, so if I draw a W again, okay, right now. All right, so next one is carton stacking. So this is an example application to show for our customer, because they're actually designing a robot machine, and the robot is helping the customer to put the boxes on the stack. So what we can do is click here, okay, and using different degree angles here. Okay, so I can put on another one here. Okay, so you can manually to plan for the stacking mechanism for the robot, and then those geometries can be reprogrammed and sent to the robot to tell the robot how it will operate and pick a place. Okay, I can also change the width and the carton width, like 200 here. Oh, it's not. Okay. Like this one here. Okay, so this is carton stacking. So you can imagine using this, you can do a lot of different interactive application for the HMI, and like a very specialized configuration for the customer. Okay, and the next one is Web API. So this is kind of the most important feature for JavaScript object. So in JavaScript object, you'll be able to send out the web request to like a local ERP server, a MES server, or a cloud server, internet server, to like this one here, retrieve some information here, like the weather in Taiwan, Taipei right now, or I can send out to a different web page. This one here is actually a public website, which is called weather.in. And I'm drawing pretty much the same thing here in our JavaScript object. And those texts you see here is text written to the canvas. Okay, so those texts are dynamically generated and printed on the screen. And also the 3D circles, or also if you want to try something, you can use our ASCII input and then run it. Or OS, is it interfaces? I'm not sure. Oh, it's not a function, it's interface. All right, so I think I have to check out our menu here. Okay, go to the OS. You see that, oh, it's called network interfaces. There is network interfaces. And this is an object. And you see, I can try to do some interactive programming with the JavaScript object to stringify. Okay, so it's showing that for my computer right here, I have an Ethernet, I have some internal IP address, and like the local IP address here. Okay, so you can do some interactive programming by using the EVAL function provided by JavaScript, and to try without actually recompile your code to see a different effect of different object here. And also for the web request here, I'm using a different website called JSONtest.com to reach for example, the daytime here, or the IP address I am using right now. So those are the JavaScript demos that you can imagine for a different type of application for your next project. So what I talk about is first click and draw circles, and to draw lines, and contour mapping to put on the working part on the screen and draw the contour using the red dots, and plotting to draw your math equations or draw different type of curves, and the animations, a 3D animation kind of like that, and screen unlock by using JavaScript object to draw the lines here, and carton stacking, and use different web interfaces here, and the 3D effects, just like a screensaver. And also for the web request, you can imagine a lot of different applications ready for you. So for example here, if your device has a GPS input, has a GPS sensor, then you will be able to use the geocoding API provided by Google here. And they have something called reverse geocoding. So you can put in the latitude and longitude value of the GPS coordinate, and then it will tell you the street address that it is located at. Okay. So in this example, when I click start, it will try to retrieve. So this is our company address, and this is GPS coordinate. So this is the exact same location. Okay, so you can so in the internet you have Google, you have AWS, Amazon, Azure, different cloud providers provide different services that you can interact with by using the web requests. Okay, so this is the demos. And then I'm going to talk about the basics for our JavaScript objects. So again, for today, I'm going to just talk about the ideas. And if you want to know more, you can fill out on the questions so we may know what we are going to cover for our next class. All right. So JavaScript object, it is actually a viewer-side object. So it runs on CNT viewer or on the HMI. And remember the thing that I have here, the evaluation. Okay. So you see that I am able to detect the operating system platform. So on the HMI, you will detect that, all right, this is a HMI. So if you want to have a JavaScript object to run something specifically only on Android or only on iOS or only on Windows, you will be able to do that. So like an automatic identification for Android users, or some location mapping, or you can imagine different type of application you can use with JavaScript object, like detecting this is HMI, and then I can run a specific code. Okay, so this is JS object, and the object name is called CO, which is called because it originates from custom object. Okay, and we have a JS resource for you to manage the library you're going to use, so you don't have to rewrite a lot of code for different objects. So just show you here that so for example, if I want to write about the web requests, so let me just show you here. So if you want to write a very simple web request, you have to write those tons of codes to understand, to read the things on the web browser. But we have already written this as a request library. So actually, if you have used this library or include this library by using our right here in the JS related resource, I have those requests in the resource, and then in our code, it will be very simple. I just use require to include this library inside the JavaScript object, and then when I click on the button, this button here, it will just send out the HTTP web GET request to this website. And when there's a return response or body, I just log or print out the body message. So let me just show you this thing here. Okay. So the JS resource, this is the final solution for you to use only the request. But if you don't want to use this, you can right here to write a lot of code like a curl set option to get requests and the set option, header function, a lot of different things you can do with that if you want to control every detail. But if the thing you want to do is just to reach out to the web page and only get the content of it, then you can use our the request.js available for you to download in this project. All right, so back to the slide here. So this is the resource I talk about. So it will help you to manage the libraries, and also it's not just libraries. You can include some JSON file or different text file for you to use inside your JavaScript object. Okay. And our JavaScript object, we use the latest modern syntax, which is ECMA 2020. And for the resource I just show you, can SDK manuals. You can go to our website, download the manual, and go check out the online JavaScript object SDK manual. All right, so I'm going to talk about the JavaScript object. So if you have a JavaScript object, let's go to here. Okay, you have configuration, source code, and shaped font that you're familiar with, EasyBuilder Pro. And the configuration here is something that you can map like a driver address or a static value like, let's show you here. You can set a constant value or constant number here by using configuration. So this is the configuration you can use with the JavaScript object. And then we have state, and the state is the pictures that or the fonts you're going to use, like this one here. So if I have the state number is 0 now, let me just show you. I can change the number of states to 40. Then I can use 40 different states here to show different content, or use our already ready label library to show the different multi-language text. Oh, sorry. Okay. So this is state, and then we have widgets. And the widget itself is a container to accommodate different mouse area canvas instances. So mouse area will be used to detect a touch or a mouse move, just like the one I show here. So what I have here, I have a mouse area in a canvas that I draw the circles on. Okay, so those are the three major components for a JavaScript object. And then if you go to the web page of the manual, go to the JS object here, you can see those are the same thing I talked about. So the configuration is the configuration that you set up in the Easy Builder Pro for you to easier manage the configs. And the state and the widget is a container. So if you can click here to the container to see what is a container. A container has a height and opacity, rotation. You can rotate it or move it to, you can change the x-axis coordinate or the y-axis coordinate and add widget to the container. Okay, so what are the widgets I can use? So the first one will be mouse area, and then canvas, pretty much just like the one in web page that you can draw anything. You can see a lot of different methods you can use. You can draw Bezier curve. You can draw arc or circles. You can fill in different text. So those are the ones that show you that you can draw text on our canvas. And then the driver here, actually it should be the driver. Okay, so the driver is the thing that you connect your JavaScript object to the actual PLC driver here. So you can get data from the driver and then make the data ready for your JavaScript code to process, or maybe if you retrieve a message from the web page, and then you can store those information back to the PLC devices. Or maybe you don't have to put it back to the PLC. You can save it into our RW or RWA recipe addresses to save it for long-term usage. Or you can set data, so you can get data and set data. Those are named after the same thing that we use in our macro. Okay. So mouse area will be used to detect mouse actions, and canvas will be used to draw shapes, just like what modern HTML5 canvas will do on the web browsers. Okay, so those are the configurations. So what you can do with JavaScript object, remember that JavaScript object is a viewer-side object. So the POW or POB address will be available for it. So you can transfer between POW or LW by using driver.getData or driver.setData. So those open the door for viewer connection to the macro to driver. Okay, and then you can change the state by different criteria. So actually you can write your own beat lamp or word lamp by using JavaScript object. Okay, so here is the hardest part, the web request. So you have to write, if you just want to retrieve a very simple web page, you have to do a lot of things for a very simple curl request. So that's the reason I just show you on the web page that right here in the web request here. You can just use our ready library, the request.js, and then in your JavaScript, you just have to use request, get this web page, and do something with it. Maybe you can use driver.getData or setData right here. Okay, so those are some very basic introduction to our JavaScript object. So let me just recap. So what I talk about is some crash course, some very basic syntax for JavaScript. And then I show you demonstration for our JavaScript objects and the basic for our JavaScript objects. And the most important thing, you should check out our online manual and go to our webpage here. And because if you want to write a lot about JavaScript object, this is the place that you will find very helpful information like if you are doing canvas to draw a circle. All right, right here I have a example for you to draw a circle. And if I want to draw a rectangle, then this is the rectangle method that you can use. Okay, so this is the end of our introduction to JavaScript object. And thank you for joining us today. So I'm sorry for the very beginning for the audio problem. And just leave us a note in the question area or in the feedback form so we can know what we have to cover, or if you want to do something with our JavaScript object but we don't have right now, you can also write it down so we can consider adding it in the future.